We knocked on 30,000 doors. We knocked on 30,000 doors. We knocked on, we made 25,000 telephone calls. And Curtis and I were knocking on doors. And for the young men in here tonight, things are changing. And we have to be able to communicate and relate to every community, black, white, Asian, Hispanic. We can't be an island unto ourselves. And politics is local. If you can control your community, you can control the politics, you can control the money that's coming into your community. Other ethnic groups like the Lubavitch in my community, they make up like 5% of the population, but 25% sometimes of the vote. Because they get out and they vote. And we have to get back to voting, we have to get back to volunteering, and get back into doing for our community. And I grew up in NYS housing in the South Bronx, single parent, 2 siblings, but I was still able to get my high school diploma. I got my college degree, I have my MBA, I have my law degree, I'm a state certified attorney, and I'm also a state certified appraiser. And I'm gonna go back to school. Because education is key, and we have to educate ourselves. Recently I went to a program called the DREAM program. And the DREAM program is for children who drop out of high school, 17 years old to 21 years old. And the woman who was running the program paid said, I had to turn back 80% of the students who applied to this program. I'm like, why is that? Do you need more money? She goes, no, I don't need more money. But the Board of Education has risen the entry-level reading level. I said, what's that? She said, it's the 7th grade. So these kids who want to get their GEDs, who are between 17 and 21, can't get into a program to get their GED because they're reading below the 7th grade level. And I was taken back. I was like, wow. I said, well, who funds you? She said, the Board of Education. I said, well, the Board of Education had these kids from the 1st grade from 6 years old to 17, didn't do their job. And now when these kids want to get help, they say, well, we can't give them help because they are not reading at the 7th grade reading level. I said, oh my God. And so I started talking to the young individuals there, and I said, you have to, pick yourself up, do the right thing, and move ahead. He said, Mr. Hamilton, I live in Brownsville, and none of my family members are productive. Who do I go to for guidance? Who do I talk to for guidance? And it took me back. I was like, man, because I've always had a strong family component. And I was like, well, this is a microcosm of what's happening throughout New York City. It's a microcosm of what's happening throughout the country. Because these kids who can't get into that program for GED, what do? Can't get a job, and a meaningful job, because you don't have a GED. So what employment opportunities do they have? So we have a subsection of people who want help, not giving them help, and then when they do get in trouble, we lock them up and spend $40,000 to incarcerate them, rather than spending $10,000 or $5,000 to get them educated. So there's something wrong with our system, and as State Senator, I'm going to change that and make it happen. And I was just sitting here listening to the brother, and I was like, you know what? I think God brought me here at this time for a specific purpose, because I went to the school in Park Slope. I don't know if everybody heard about it. You have these young kids of color walking in Park Slope, and the police say, get out the neighborhood. Right. So the police say, get out the neighborhood. So I said, well, let me go to the school and had a forum. So I was a school board president for about 6 years. I must have attended 200 meetings in my life, 500 meetings in schools. As I get to the school, there's a metal detector. I was here like 2 weeks ago when they had some white folks over here, and there wasn't no metal detector then. And they were having a discussion. I said, so why now? So I asked the guy, I said, why not go through a metal detector? He said, well, it's a policy of the board. I said, that's bullshit, man. I said, I'm school board president. I said, why is that here tonight? Because, you think people of color are going to come and burn the place down, but in their mindset, that's what they're thinking. They don't want people of color coming there and disrupting things. So I said, okay, so I get ready to go to the metal detector. He goes, oh, also, we need to check your ID. I said, for what? I said, why? I said, why do you have to look at my ID to come to a public forum? And this is what they're doing to our children, to kill their spirit in education. And I was glad to see young people of color who had the energy. And the young lady told a story how they were outside playing in Park Slope. Now, I don't agree sometimes with the language. The nigga, yo nigga, my nigga, yo bitch, this and all that stuff. That turns me on too. So if we don't respect ourselves in public, other folks are going to look at us and say, well, you're not respecting yourselves.
So why should we respect?
So why should we respect you? Talking loud, you know, and I'm like, I don't understand like why some kids just talk loud and crazy, running around, hey girl! You know, white folks don't want to hear that. We know they don't want to hear that. So why are you doing it? You're just bringing more attention to yourself. You know the environment that you're in and act accordingly. So the young lady said that her friends were playing around, they were, you know, kind of fighting, and they dropped a soda, and a cup fell on the floor. And she went to pick it up, and a white man picked it up, right, ahead of her. So they walked for a block. And when they walked for the block, the white guy took the cup and threw it in the kid's face. Bang! Wow. So this is some type of subliminal racism where one guy, a white guy, can pick up a cup and take it upon himself to throw it in the face of a young black kid. Basically saying, we don't want you here. And so part of what we're going to do is to enlighten our youth on how to conduct themselves. But still, there's no reason for anybody to throw a cup in your face no matter what you do. That's right. You know, and so lately I've just been coming across things that have been really, stimulating me and opening my eyes. Because I have a son, and he's doing well, and little Jesse's doing his thing. And he's flying now. So people go, oh, you're doing such a good job with your son. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? Every man should take care of their family. That should be the norm. You have a child, you take care of your family, and you make sure that you lift the next generation up, do what they have to do. So I tell the young kids, what do you want to do in life? Where do you want to live? What salary do you have to make, or what occupation do you have to have in order to live where you want to live? Now, I just left Franklin Avenue in the art gallery. Women named Sandy Taggart. The lowest price for art was like $700. Top price was $5,000. And as I was leaving there, I met a woman named Nina and Joffrey, two white people who were heavily involved with Franklin Avenue before it became the Franklin Avenue it is. And so we have people who are not black who really have our best interests at heart. Everybody that's white is not bad.
That's right.
So if you live in an area where everybody's black and the only interaction you have with white folks are the police who are knocking you in the head, you can't put all white folks into the category of the police department.
That's right.
Because we did have abolitionists who were white who helped us free the slaves. We didn't do it by ourselves. So, and she was saying how they changed the Crow Black Association, a new group that took over, and it was like a coup. It wasn't like a natural transition. And as I drove up Franklin Avenue, I got to Eastern Parkway and I said, oh my God. Starbucks is here. I said, Starbucks is here. I said, oh my God. Gentrification is strong. So now the building where the Starbucks is at, a studio apartment, starts at $2,200. A student. So what job do you need to have in order to pay, let's say $2,000 a month rent? So $24,000 is just, that's for rent. You still don't get the food, you still get to, clothing, and that's $24,000 after taxes. So if you make $50,000, you do 20% of that, you have $40,000 minus 24, you got $16,000. You don't have a car, you got to travel, you have children. So we are facing a new dynamic in Brooklyn, and we have to make sure that we educate our children, because the only way out of any situation is education. That's right. And we can't let anybody try to damper or try to downplay education.